What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another break on this Wednesday evening. Right now, we've got our 2025 Topps Chrome Baseball Value Box 40 box full case number 5 random teams. Going to go ahead and get this shared over to the group, get everybody tagged, and we will go ahead and get started. Almost got all the tags in here. All right. There we go. Got all the tags in there. Already got a few folks in, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this late night break. We got our names here first. Daniel on top. Patrick on the bottom. Going to roll the dice. Anything less than 4, we roll again. Got a 7, so we're good there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Jeremy on top. Nate on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and get this reflected on your screens. There we go. Then we've got the Arizona Diamondbacks on top. Washington Nationals on the bottom. I'm going to roll the dice. Anything less than 4, we roll again. Got an 8, so we're good there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Miami Marlins on top. New York Mets on the bottom. Going to go ahead and get this reflected on your screens. Get that trade timer started. There we go. 3 minutes on the clock. Starting now with that trade timer ticking. I'm going to go ahead and get our verification codes copied and pasted into our chats. All right, verification codes have been posted. With just about 2.5 minutes left on the trade timer here. Plenty of time if you're looking to swap teams. Phillies up for trade in the chat. All right, 40 seconds left on the trade timer here. There we go. No trades. Those are going to be everybody's teams. And Corey, there is still 14 teams in the Breakers Delight. So that will be the next, but it probably will not break tonight. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Let me crack this case, get our 40 boxes out. Unless someone buys all the remaining teams during this break. If someone buys all the remaining teams during this break, that'll be next. Stranger things have happened. You're all good? You're all good. We just finished up the first hobby break. And then we did a blaster break this morning as well. Case moved out of there. There we go. What is up, Mark? What is up? I'm going to take a sip of my drink and we will go ahead and get started. Last break took exactly 2 hours, so I'm going to see if we can cut that down a little bit for y'all. Might not happen, but we shall see. Good luck, everybody. You did. The trade timer has ended. Empty box number 1 there. Get this trash can a little bit closer now. Nobody else is here. Here we go. Nice all edge Ellie there. Also, we're rocking with a new camera. Last break was the first one we tried it on. Should make the cards clear for everybody, but it looks a little different. That is why. All right, let me get this basement over. We'll hop into box number 2 here. Nice Nolan Arenado there. And we got an Orelvis Martinez here, 87 out of 99 for the Blue Jays. Nice rookie auto there. That one going over to Patrick. There you go, Patrick. First auto of the break coming your way. Congrats on that. All right, let's get this base moved over. Hop into box number 3. Empty box there. Nice Jacob Wilson there for the Athletics. Nice Jacob Wilson there on the power players. And James Wood. All right, let me get this base moved over. We'll hop into the next one. Empty box there. Nice Jacob Wilson there for the Athletics. Got a nice Griffin Connie here, 32 out of 99 for the Marlins. Hey, this is my third case of the day, so if it were to happen, it's going to happen on this one. It's really not that bad, though. I do not mind doing it at all. Get these moved over, crack open some more sleeves. There's breakers out there who do like 40 here for the drama. There's breakers out there who do like 40 cases at a time, all day breaks. Empty box there. I'm interested to see, too, if the stats stay the same. In our last 40-box case, we got one auto every 10 boxes on average. Ended up with 4 autos for the case. Interested to see if that remains true. We're already at 1, so we just need 3 more. Nice Jacob Wilson there for the Athletics. Show that empty box there. Got a nice Paul Skeens on the future stars there. Empty box there. Got a Brandon Lockridge here, 138 out of 199 for the Padres. Get this base moved over. We'll hop into box number 8, 1/5 of the way through here. Empty box there. Nice James Woods there for the National. What's up, Emmett? How you doing? right, here we go. Box number 9 here. Empty box there. I'm doing good. And I'm liking Topps Chrome a lot. I like the design this year. I think this year's Series 1, Series 2 design has been one of my favorites from previous years. It's kind of sleek. I'll be doing even better when I pull that gold Logo Man patch auto we were talking about. I am. I kind of have, because I remember when Luminance Football came out last year. That was one of the first football. I think the first football I ever opened was Gold Standard. I think the first baseball I opened, if I'm correct, was Bowman Chrome. All right, let's get this one moved up. Empty box there. Nice Jacob Wilson there for the Athletics. We got a nice Carlos Rodriguez here, 42 out of 50 for the Brewers on the gold. There we go. Nice one there for the Brew Crew. Going over to Bill. There you go, Bill. Congrats on that one. I'll have to think about that. I feel like there's a lot of best moments. Worst moment, as I always say, was when I opened that full case and no autos were there. That one was tough. Nice Shohei there. Best moment, I don't know. I think it's so funny because it's not the biggest card I've pulled, but the card that always stands out as my favorite to me, simply because of my work, it came right after my worst moment, was when I pulled the Conor McGregor on-card auto out of 50. That's probably the moment I look most fondly on, because it came literally the break after we opened that case with no autos. So I went from having, like, very low moment to riding high on one of the coolest cards I had seen. I think my favorite thing about being a breaker on my 1-year anniversary is just the community. I've loved getting to meet so many people online and in person, building those relationships, sharing the hobby with so many folks. I think that's something that you don't ever think about when you go into the profession, that's just so special and can't really be replicated anywhere else. Plus, I mean, I got to make some lifelong friends with the Iron Lion crew, so that's always a positive as well. Nice. Roki Sasaki there for the Dodgers. Dylan Cruz there on the Fortune 15. Least favorite product to break. It's going to be a hot take. A lot of people are going to maybe not like this answer. And I will preface this by saying this is not a slight on anyone who loves this product. I think it's one of the most popular products. It just does not interest me. Regular Bowman and Bowman Draft. Anything that has paper Bowman is my least favorite to break. Solely because I'm never the big rookie collector. I always like collecting the legends, the vets, and you don't get a lot of that in Bowman. So to me, as much as the value is there, it's just less exciting to me than open something like Topps Chrome. Or, I mean, I love Allen and Ginter, Heritage, things like that. That's not to say, like, Bowman is an excellent product, but that is my least favorite to break, I think, by far. Simply because I am not interested in the prospects like a lot of other people are. I wait till they pan out or don't before I start collecting them. All right, let's get this basement over. Hop into the next one. Empty box there. One auto so far, Joe, for the Blue Jays, Orelvis Martinez. Earlier when we did the last 40 box case, we had about one auto every 10 boxes. We'll see if that holds true. If so, we should have at least 4 autos, maybe more. Got a Javier Sanoa there, 60 or 6 out of 150 going over to the Marlins. Pulled his out of 5 in the previous break. That's fair. I think you kind of grow to love a lot of things too. I mean, I was not even a fan of Flagship when I first started, and now I enjoy breaking it. So I think you just get used to things. You get more. So here's the thing too: is I think like it depends on the person. But like when I started, I was more into the sport than the collecting side of baseball. So I think as you get more into the hobby side of it, you fall more in love with Bowman because you understand the collectability of it rather than simply, oh, this player's killing it in the majors, might make the World Series kind of thing. I've definitely grown to like Bowman more than I did. Get this base moved up. Crack open another pack of sleeves here. Might have to go grab more sleeves before the break is done. Empty box there. We got our second auto here. Eric Orza for the Tampa Bay Rays. Nice little rookie auto there. That one going over to Tom. There you go, Tom. Auto number 2 coming to you. Congrats on that. Nice Roki there. We got Zebby Matthews here at 155 out of 199 for the Twins. I'd have to think about that one. I'm not sure. Underrated. Honestly, this is... I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say overrated, underrated, because I feel like it has a cult following, but I feel like Allen and Ginter might be a little bit that way. Like, I feel like a lot of people dislike it because it is a more affordable product, less huge hits, but I think as a breaker, it's one of my most enjoyable breaks just because there's so many different things to break up Not seeing the same 4 cards every 2 seconds. Keeps you engaged. All the fun, unique inserts. Definitely one of the more unique products out there. Maybe Goodwin Champions as well for the same reason. I know that's not the most beloved either, but I just love stuff like that where you see inserts, parallels, autos, things like that you're not going to see in most products. Empty box there. Yeah, Skybox Metal Champions, another fun one. We got a third auto here. Austin Kitchen, 6 out of 150 for the Marlins. Nice little color match there. Bound good over to Jeremy. There you go, Jeremy. Congrats on that one. Third auto of the break. Got a good pace for autos so far. We got 4 in the last case. We've already gotten 3. Only 2 of our 5 rows in. Nice Dylan Cruz there. Yeah, of course. And Jeremy, that one actually went to the other Jeremy. Jeremy Green. Sorry about that. You have the Pirates, my friend. There we go. Get that base moved over. Let me crack open some more top loaders here. Immaculate. I feel like that's an understandable one. Empty box there. don't think there's anything that I like hate breaking. It's always a fun experience to get to see new stuff. Emmett, what do you think the most stressful break is? I want to hear your answer before I say mine, because I'm pretty sure everyone universally has the same answer, but I'm curious. Yes, sir, Jeremy. You got the Pittsburgh Pirates. Okay, that's fair. That's not what I thought you were going to say. But that is also, especially upper deck hockey, is a little bit stressful. I was going to say flawless. I feel like flawless is the most anxiety-inducing break simply because they're such high-end cards. I'm always so paranoid that I'm going to touch a card wrong. All right, let me get this base moved over. We're having a box 16. Empty box there. Okay, that's equally fair. Both of those are good contenders for that. All right, let me get this base moved over. I'm going to go grab a couple more packs of sleeves right outside my door here. Move on with the rest. Also going to get these boxes moved closer now that we've got those first two rows down. There we go. Okay, that is also a fair one because it's unlicensed, and a lot of like high numbered parallels. Empty box there. This is probably very controversial opinion, but I think like if you look at like a certain like product across the board, I think Prism is the most overrated. I'm a big Select fan. I enjoy Select a lot more than Prism. I feel like Prism tends to cost more, and I tend to enjoy the hits and Select a lot more. Nice. Roki on the Fortune 15. Seen a lot more Roki in this case. Last time it was all James Wood. Jesse Winker there, 54 out of 150 for the Mets. Yeah, 100%. I think that's part of the reason why I think it's a little bit. Again, that's not bashing on Prism. I just think compared to some other product, I enjoy it less. Because also, at least with Select, there's multiple hits per box. With Prism, you're really only getting that one auto, maybe a couple low-numbered parallels, but the threshold there, in my opinion, is more scary. But the benefit of Prism, and what makes it exciting is, when you get one of those big cards, it's got a much nicer value to it. Much more desirable in the end. Yeah, definitely. Nice Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Well, the thing with Prism is it's loaded with so many parallels. So that's like the benefit, but also if you don't get any, it's crushing. Nice. Hyun Kim there for the Dodgers. We got a fourth auto here. Ryan Lotus there, 219 out of 299 for the Cardinals. Now, going over to Dylan. There you go, Dylan. Congrats on that. Yeah. Yeah, Jeremy Score has so many different cards in it. The thing I like about breaks like Score, though, why I like Allen and Ginter Heritage back in the day, is like it's a good starting point for collecting. Like if you want to get into a more affordable break and start building up that base collecting, that's the perfect break to do it in. The hit threshold isn't as high, but also neither is the price. Yeah, Score without logos can be tricky. Lots of Googling for some of those third string bench players. Empty box there. And Emmett, going back to your different kind of stressful, when you were talking about upper deck earlier, I think my different kind of stressful is collegiate products. Because there's some big guys where you're like, okay, I know which college or which team this person goes to, but similarly to Score, when you get to those second and third string guys that maybe played one snap in the NFL, it gets stressful because you're sitting here in the break having to Google every 5 minutes while trying not to slow anything down. All right, just a couple more packs in this box. Nice Jackson Holiday on the Future Stars. Jace Jung on the rookie there for the Tigers. All right, let me get these base moved over here. We will hop into the next box. Actually, thought it looked weird, but I want to go back and look. We actually have a logo board variation here for the Tampa Bay Rays. You can see the logo in the back there. Really cool card. Congrats on that one for the Rays. Going over to Tom. With that, we got box 20 here. Halfway through. Empty box there. We got another auto here. Going to be Justin Sterner, 155 out of 199 for the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, going over to Tom as well. There you go, Tom. Congrats on that. All right, let me get these base moved over here. Panini 1? Man. You mean like Panini 1-in-1, stuff like that? Empty box there. Panini 3 count. It's one of my favorites. Might be my favorite product out there. Even though it was like a 1 year. Got another logo board variation there. This one of Nick Castellanos for the Phillies. Nice one there. I loved that stuff. I'm biased because I mean, I got into a break of that and pulled one of my favorite wrestlers. So it'll always have a special place in my heart. But I'm a big fan of Topps WWE. However, I do kind of miss Panini having the rights solely because at least we got a decent like span of products when we get this basement over. I feel like, man, Topps has had that license is just kicking their feet around, not doing anything. It's kind of frustrating as a wrestling collector. Yeah, I still need to get my hands on a Rowdy Roddy Piper downtown. I loved WWE Flawless. They really went out with a bang. Empty box there. Don't worry, I do. That would be fun. But I'm with you on that. I feel like it would be harder now. Although you never know. I'm interested to see if Topps holding off on their second wrestling release for so long increases demand or kind of fizzles out the excitement. Because I mean, that would be sick. I feel like it's been so long since Topps Chrome WWE came out and they haven't done anything else that people are kind of over it. Get this moved over here. Empty box there. I think I've met enough wrestlers now. Because for the longest time, Jake the Snake was the only one I had ever met. I feel like I can say he was still probably the most interesting with his stories. His panel was hilarious. Especially his stories about him and Andre going on the road together. Nice James Wood there. Or like the craziest one. When he talks about the snake that he accidentally left in the car to freeze to death, but he couldn't get a replacement snake, so he had to puppet it around for like a week until it broke in two and disintegrated in the middle of the ring, and he didn't realize it, so he was puppeting it around with half a snake in his hand and half a snake in the other hand. Yeah, and I agree with you, because I mean, I'm a huge WWE collector, and even I'm like, okay, at this point, I don't really care. Like, I'll just stick to buying old Topps singles that I want, or getting into like 2018 Topps WWE breaks. Like, unless the price is right on that new Travis Scott, and even then, like, why are you doing another Topps Chrome release when you have so many interesting sets you could do, so many new innovations? Nothing against Travis Scott, but that's just not as exciting to me. Also, I feel like because we were at WrestleMania, we saw the exclusive Cactus Jack WrestleMania boxes. If I bought one of those and then they just came out with a whole set, I'd be kind of mad. It's no longer as special. Yeah, well, and even then, those Mania debut patches were hyped up months ago now. I mean, look, Mania itself was in April. So we're officially April to May to June, 3 months from when Mania happened. And nothing. Get this base moved over. They didn't even really come out with a set to hype up Mania either. I mean, they had the exclusive Mania Cactus Jack boxes and the little free packs that Topps was handing out at Mania, but they dropped Topps Chrome WWE so early it didn't even really build the excitement for that. Empty box there. I think they're content with doing the Topps Chrome WWE, but the problem is I feel like that's not enjoyable to a large portion of the collectors. Heck, there's about to have been more AEW releases in a year for card product than there is WWE. And I mean, you know Topps can do it because Panini did 3 count Flawless and National Treasures all like back to back within a few months of each other. Nice Roki there. I know NT got postponed a little bit, but some of my favorite guys I haven't seen in a while. Trevor Story. Loved him on the Rockies. Yeah, and the thing is, I feel like wrestling is the easiest place to do that. I mean, I guess with other sports, they change their uniforms pretty regularly too. Nice Kobe Mayo there for the Orioles. But like, there's so many different like John Cena right now is having a different shirt for every single one of his uh, retirement matches. You could turn each one of those shirts into relic pieces and have a ton. I know they're not doing that because we saw they were selling one at Mania, his full uniform, if you'll call it, but that is a possibility. And I listened to an interview with Seth Rollins over a year ago where he said he had given or sold, I don't remember, a lot of his old wardrobe to Topps, specifically to make relics. So there's going to be lots of ring-worn relics. They just haven't released them. All right, into our final 16 here. Empty box there. Plus, with mat relics, they change the mat after every match. So you'll forever have endless mat relics. And a huge Legends roster that signs for $10 a pop. Got a nice fanatical Jacob Wilson there for the Oakland Athletics. Gonna go ahead and get that one magged up. That one going over to Andrew Russell. There you go, Andrew. Congrats on that. Empty box there. Heck yeah. That's going to be crazy if we pull one of those. Empty box there. That's crazy. That should not be the case. I mean, maybe there's a lot of tennis fanatics that I am unaware of out there, but I feel like the WWE has a bigger collecting audience. I'm not saying there's not tennis fanatics out there. I know you love tennis. I'm sure lots of people love tennis, but I feel like in the card world, there's more WWE market than there is tennis market. I see a lot more WWE booths at card shows than tennis booths. That's crazy. I don't know if there's anything I would do that for if I was away. Maybe some WWE. Yeah, okay, you're right. I saw some crazy hits out of Leaf Pearl. The TV behind me decided to start playing some random movies, so I guess we'll see what it is. All right, let me get this basement over. We'll hop into the next one. I need one of the Leaf Jelly Chestnut autos for my PC. The Glizzy Gladiator. Empty box there. I don't know. I actually like Leaf Pop Century more, I think. I would love to open some of that history book stuff. Especially now that Ozzy has unfortunately passed. That'd be one of the best places to chase some Ozzy autos. I'm gonna have to think about that one for a second. I've opened a lot of different products. I'm gonna go recency bias until I think of another one. I might change my mind. But based on like recency bias, nice James Wood there. Donruss baseball. That stuff was pretty rough. I think there was good chance to hit, but I did not see much. I mean, we hit a couple cool cards, but nothing insane. Ooh, actually, you know what? I'm going to change. Well, I think Donruss baseball is still up there. Another one that I thought was, well, I don't know. Because you could get Wemby. I felt like Topps Cosmic Chrome basketball has always been kind of rough because there's no guaranteed hits ever. Like, we got lucky getting multiple autos per case, but the odds-wise, you could go multiple cases without getting a single auto. And half the time, even when you do get an auto, it's not a massive one. So I think that would be my other one. Topps. I love the look of Cosmic Chrome, but the ability to hit and the checklist just, and unlicensed, like it just wasn't there, in my opinion. Empty box there. Got a Gleyber Torres here, 32 out of 199 for the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, I think the Topps Chrome basketball stuff, including Cosmic Chrome, just wasn't really there this year. Or last. I mean, in the year that I've been here, I was not really impressed with any of it. I liked the chance to get some Wemby rookie autos and managed to pull one, which I was really excited about, but it just felt lackluster, especially with products like Topps Chrome Football, which was equally unlicensed, but so much better, in my opinion. The hits were better. It was less noticeably unlicensed. Last pack of this box. Let me hop into our last 10 boxes. Empty box there. Yeah, give me just a second, Andrew. Let me finish this box, and then I can show you. I've been purposely avoiding photogenic football. I loved the look of the cards, but that stuff was pretty rough. I'm just a sucker for more unique photos, so I always have a soft spot for photogenic. Nice Ben Rice there for the Yankees. I was sad we didn't get to break any photogenic WWE. That stuff was really cool. Here you go, Andrew. There is that fanatical Jacob Wilson up close for you. Prism Deca was cool too. Empty box. Yeah, my pleasure, Andrew. The end is nigh, my friends. Only 8 boxes left after this. One more stack. All right, let me get this basement over. We'll hop into our last 8 boxes here. Empty box there. Another Jacob Wilson there. Power slap? I don't know. You get some in, I'll start ripping it. Empty box there. You don't want some Leaf professional bull riding? Don't they have Leaf pickleball too you could order? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I think it might be fun, though. Definitely one of the more unique products out there. Deal. I'll put all my wrath on him. I wouldn't be the first person to do it. So he's used to complaining. Donruss Racing Fat Packs? Hey, those aren't the worst. I'm sure if you told Anthony he was breaking those, he'd be pumped. He's a big racing guy. There we go. That'd be like me opening WWE Fat Packs. All right, 6 boxes remain here. Empty box there. We have some. I've used them on Whatnot before. That would be cool. I've seen some really cool stuff come out of Heritage Fat Packs in the past. That would be pretty brutal. Heck, let's throw up another dual case of blasters. Let's try that again. I don't think we gave that enough. Empty box there. 4.5 hour breaker retail. And we got a Kevin Alcantara auto here for the Chicago Cubs on the base. Okay. That makes more sense then. That one going over to Joe. There you go, Joe. Congrats on that. I mean, even at the fastest, it'd still be like a 3.5, 4 hour break. I don't know. You might have faster hands than I do, but empty box there. Yeah, 100%. I don't think it would be too bad, though. Not recommending it, but I would do it. If that's what the people want, that'll be what the people get. We got another Fanatical. This one of Manny Machado for the Padres. Going to get that one magged up. Can't go wrong with two Fanaticals in one case. I have to say this case may have beaten the first one. We've definitely gotten more autos. There we go. Nice one there for the Padres once again. That one going over to Steve. There you go, Steve. Congrats on that. Yeah, I don't think we could either. I mean, maybe you could. You just wouldn't be able to see all 80 at once. But, I mean, I did 40. Three boxes remain here. The end is nigh. Empty box there. Yeah, mega boxes wouldn't be as bad. I mean, heck, we've done a dual jumbo hobby case before, so really not that different. All right, let me get this basement over. We'll hop into our second to last box here. Yeah, that's what I said earlier when someone was talking about like how this multiple would hurt my hands. I'm like, I can't complain because there's breakers who are doing it for like 8-9 hours. Although I feel like as exhausting and tiring as it would be to do 10-20 cases, it would be kind of fun. Just the sheer amount of hits you get. Empty box there. Here we go, second to last box. Plus, the more cases you open, the higher odds you have to hit something absolutely massive. I think our shipping department would be very unhappy, though, if we opened 50 cases and they had to sort through all that. Nice Dylan Cruz there. I did. And yes, I can. Another James Wood there. All right, last box. Here we go. That's so alluring. As someone who doesn't eat ice cream. All right, last pack. Here we go. Good luck, everybody. Another James Wood there. All right, let me get this base moved over. We'll hop into our recap. I think I got one more break after this. Then I'll rest my hands. But you have a good night as well, Andrew. Thanks for hopping in and hanging out. Congrats again on that, Jacob Wilson. All right, here we go. Kevin Alcantara for the Cubs on the auto. Justin Sterner out of 199 on the auto for the Rays. Got Ray Lotus there out of 299 for the Cardinals on the auto, followed by Austin Kitchen for the Marlins on the auto out of 150. Got Eric Orza there for the Rays on the auto. Carlos Rodriguez for the Brewers out of 50 on the gold. Griffin Connie there, 32 out of 99 for the Marlins. And Orelvis Martinez on the auto out of 99 for the Blue Jays. Then we finish off with our two mags, Manny Machado and Jacob Wilson, both on the Fanatical. All right, that's going to do it for this break. Thank you, everybody, for hopping on. Hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you in the Luminance break moment.